Welcome, I'm Kika, and today we're going to be drawing this maple leaf in Procreate. So grab your app and let's get started. I'm using a screen size canvas, and today we'll use the 6B pencil and the artist crayon to get that fun textured look to our maple leaf. So to start off, I'm going to turn this off, create a new layer, and let's draw some guides. Grab a gray color, just a little bit darker so you guys can see it. Perfect. To start off, draw a square. Rough square. Doesn't have to be perfect, as you can see. Within this square, we want to draw a rectangle. And this will help us with our maple leaf shape. Once you have that, we will continue by drawing just a straight line down the middle. This will be our center of the maple leaf. After that, here we'll draw simple line, that'll be the bottom. Then from this point, draw a line up to here and just slightly curved like so. These are the vines of our leaf. And now draw ovally circular shapes. They can overlap, that's fine. But this will help us give the leaf its thickness. So this is our guide. Looks a little bit confusing, but it'll make sense in just a moment. Create a new layer. So that's our guide. Bring down the opacity a little bit. And now this is where we'll sketch out the leaf. To start off, everywhere you have a point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just draw a point, an arrow. So this is where the tips of our leaf will be. Now using these circular guides that we drew in here, draw ovals. And this will connect our sections of our leaf. And now between this point and this point, just draw in a few more curved lines. Following the thickness. There's no wrong or right answer as to how many of these we're adding in. Like so. And then here will be the stem. Thicker at the bottom and bring it in. So this section right here, I'm just going to, whoops, sweater got caught. I'm going to erase. Now that I have my leaf mapped out, I'm going to turn off all those guides. And there we have it. We have our leaf. And this is where you can adjust it a little bit. You want the point to be more out or in. For example, here, I'm just gonna curve that in just a little bit more, like so. Actually, like that. I prefer that, but I'm gonna leave it as is. And now I'm gonna add in my stem, my points. And from each curve, we're going to add in a line. Each time you draw your maple leaf will be a little bit different. So here I don't have any curves, but I'll just add in like so. Beautiful. Make sure that your entire sketch is closed off. There's no opening because we want to use a selection tool to select our leaf so we can easily color it in. So I'm just going over a few spots to make sure it's enclosed. And I believe I I am good. Once you're sure that you have all your points closed off, tap the selection tool, automatic, and just tap anywhere outside of your leaf. But just before that, zoom out, make sure your leaf is filling out the page. We want a nice size leaf. There you go. Now that it fills out the page, selection tool, automatic, tap anywhere outside of your leaf. When you do that, so tap on your selection tool, tap anywhere outside of your maple leaf. If all your points are closed off, then your maple leaf will be white, your background will be blue, and we continue. For some reason, if you had an opening somewhere and you tapped on the selection tool automatic, then the entire page would be blue. So you know you have to go in and fix. Let me just close that off again. Okay. Once you have the background blue selected, we want to invert to make sure it selects the entire leaf. Tap the layers button and create a new layer. You will see diagonal lines on the background, and that will make sure that we can't color on the background, just where the leaf is shown. Now let's grab our artist crayon. And this is where we get to have fun with all those colors. Brush size around 10. I'm gonna start off with like an orange and just fill it in. Especially the edges. And now that I have most of it filled in, that will be my base color. On top of that, I will add in yellows to one side. And reds to the other. And maybe your leaf is a little bit green and yellow with some red. Maybe it's mostly red. I'm just gonna add a little bit of brown in there. And I'm tapping with this brush to give it that texture as well. Or you can lightly brush over to also get that texture. Now that you have all of that done, tap the selection tool, turn off your guide, turn off your sketch layer, and you just have your awesome maple leaf. But now we want to add in those vines again. So I'm going to actually turn on that sketch layer and bring it up to the top so I can see it. If it will let me. There we go. And I'll bring down the opacity just a little bit. I am two options. You can turn on alpha lock and draw all the details on the same layer, or create a new layer and tap clipping mask. That way, just in case you make a mistake, it's easy to erase. I will grab a brownie color, same brush, that crayon, but we're gonna bring down the size a little bit too big. So about 1%. Okay, I'm gonna clear this to erase that. And now I'll add in these detailed lines. I'm bringing them all to a point on the bottom here. Turn off those. Beautiful. I love it. Actually, I just need to erase a little bit over here. I went a little too far. And I'm going to bring this down into the stem. Like so. Beautiful. You can add a new background color, or you can leave as is. I'm gonna group these together so that I can tap the transform tool and move this around. And now you have a beautiful leaf, a beautiful maple leaf. And each time you draw this, use different colors. And even though I use this exact same technique, the leaves come out looking just a tad different. And that's perfect because all leaves look a little bit different. You have different colors. You can add brighter yellows, more reds, add in some green. The choices are endless. The important thing is to keep creating, keep learning, keep having fun, enjoy your art process of exploring different methods and ways to draw leaves. Sometimes they can be so complicated, but there's always guides and simple ways to figure it out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me today.